So we made more than 5 million euros on our workshops, sales events. And the biggest mistake most coaches do is that they're running fulfillment events rather than sales events without even knowing it.
So in today's episode, we're going to talk about events, and we're going to talk about being a coach, running your business, and earning your revenue through event as the main client acquisition activity.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting because we've actually done a lot of events.
Yeah.
We know exactly what needs to be done in order to run a successful event. All of our clients have been running events, especially when they get north of 10, 15,000 euros per month and they want to scale and they want to work more effectively. So we've been studying events for a long time and it's shifted, and we can see huge differences in the last 5 years, what used to work and what doesn't work as much anymore.
And for reference, we made more than 5 million euros on sales events.
Yeah.
So we've done this as our main funnel, our main conversion engine into our coaching business.
Yeah. And our clients have made more than 20 million euros running events themselves. Yeah. So we kind of know the difference between how to make an event convert and not. And we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And starting up talking about the problem, one of the things that people run into is that they do not appreciate the difference between a fulfillment event and a sales event.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first biggest thing that most people fail to realize. It's a huge difference. If we invite people to an event that aren't clients, it isn't a fulfillment event.
Well, it can be, but not if you want to grow your business and make money in your business. But
it can be for a while, but it's not sustainable.
No.
So you're running out of resources giving away free stuff with the purpose of fulfilling the audience.
Yeah.
Where we can't get this wrong is that, yes, they need to be fulfilled to a degree in a certain way, but it's not about fulfillment.
Yeah.
You can sell like a crazy person without them feeling sold to, without focusing on fulfillment as the main navigator. And I want to make sure that we break that down and talk about the most important parts in building a successful event as a coach in 2026.
Yeah.
Because I think there's too many mistakes being made out there.
Absolutely. And I think for those who don't understand the difference, because as I believe a lot of people actually believe there's events and events, like there's not different kinds of events. So when we say the difference between a sales event or conversion event and a fulfillment event is like, it's completely built up differently. It's the way we design the event will be very differently. So a fulfillment event is like people come in, they're happy, they go out. That means that that's the kind of event you would run for your clients because you're not selling anything to them. They are just there to learn and grow. However,
here's a pro tip: sell to your clients as well.
Yeah, upsell. Of course, you can do absolutely
just
a combination.
Yeah, I just want to throw that in there without.
But let's focus in this episode not on upsell events, but like top of funnel sales events, getting into your business. And what we hear often when we're asking coaches, so how did your event go? Oh, it was so good. Yeah. The people loved it. They're so happy. They're writing me testimonials and they just loved it. And we're just like, but how many clients did you get? How many sales calls did you get? Oh, I didn't get any clients. Well, then it's not a great event. It can feel good because you have happy people. But from a perspective of running a business, if you're running a sales event, but you're not getting any sales calls or any clients, there's definitely something wrong in that event.
Yeah.
Something needs to be fixed.
And your business is bleeding resources.
Yeah.
And we need to recognize that it is a responsibility as a business owner to make sure that we are building something that is generative. Income is the only thing that makes a business sustainable. It's the only main leverage.
Yeah.
The only reason why we run a business is so that we create a space, a function for money to fly into and for money to fly out to.
Yeah.
Or fly out from. Looking at that, it's very important. Running a business as a coach in serving the public, well, you are going to do that.
Yeah.
You are going to fulfill the need. And you're like, here's the thing. If you're in this game for 10 years plus, your marketing will change more people's lives than your coaching ever will because of how many people it touches. All people aren't meant to become your clients, and they can benefit from what you do anyway. So there is no shortage of your contribution. I just want to say that. But we want to look at it through a lens of professionalism.
Yeah.
And professionalism meaning that you make it profitable. That's when we pivot and realize, hey, I'm running sales events. Okay, good. So you're running sales events. So what is the most important thing to bring in mind when setting up your sales event to make it successful?
Before I go into that, I would love to talk about one more thing that I believe is the huge misunderstanding about events.
Great.
First thing is like deciding what kind of event is it I'm running and understanding that. The second thing is, especially coaches who got inconsistent client flow, but they got a business, they do have the funnel. A lot of coaches are coming from the time where I'm running webinars, which means I need to have 500 people registered because I understand that if I have 500 registered, maybe I'll get a few clients. So a lot of people are focusing on registrations rather than conversion. There's some pros and cons depending on where you're at in your business. So you cannot just copy what everyone else is doing. There'll be businesses out there who's doing like 2 million a month and are been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years. And they're running their events on a very successful scale. But if you copy exactly what they're doing, it's probably not going to work for you if you are maybe getting 3-4 clients a month and struggling to grow that. You can probably not copy exactly that, but what we see...
I also want to say that it's not so much about, you could calculate it to probability. You're more likely to win at the lottery.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Alex Hormozi or Tony Robbins, and I'm seeing Russell Brunson or Rich Cardone or whomever it is that you want to benchmark yourself towards because you connect with. You are not supposed to do what they're doing. No. You're not even supposed to do what we are doing. But what you're supposed to do is figuring out what works at the level that I'm at.
So a lot of the coaches who actually have a great business, but very inconsistent business, are also coaches who are investing a lot of money often into ads to make sure they can fill a room like 300 to 500 people.
Yes.
Because that's their main focus. I need to get a lot of registrants. So what we teach our clients is, rather than looking for the biggest numbers of registrants, is how can we have better conversion rates in between everything we do? Which means our clients are seeing that you can have a room with 10, 20 people and you can convert 60% of them into becoming clients.
Yeah, which is way better.
Way better.
And one of the things that I'm so proud of, we just came out of an event ourselves.
Yeah.
And the thing that stood out that people loved about it was that they felt that you and I are real.
Yeah.
In a world where AI is growing like weed, people crave...
And we love AI.
Yeah, 100%.
We love AI. It's so good in so many places.
So where it grows and where it becomes, where more and more people are using it, it also becomes less and less personal. If we stand on stage, of course, we're real. What it followed up with, one of our new clients that came in from this event that bought our top tier program, after she bought, she asked to share in the audience, and she shared that one of the things that I loved is that I feel so seen and taken care of. And it's been so pleasant to become a client of yours. 1 week ago, I didn't know who you were. And then through your funnel, through the connections and through the communication that we've had, I've just loved it. And now I'm coming out and I'm longing to buy. That's the only thing that I wanted to do.
Also to understand, this person came in through our workshop funnel, but this person also bought the program, 22K program, before the event.
Yeah.
I think she paid on day one. Out of a 3-day event.
And it is one of the trainings and the blueprints that we teach our clients. And it's called the event that doesn't matter. Yeah. Because the event in itself isn't the converting thing. It is how we treat people and how we meet them, how we see them, and how we're able to communicate with them effectively to understand what's missing for you and how can I fill in the gap. Yeah. Because if the people that join your sales events understand that they have a gap that they long to fill, which means that they have something they either want solved or a goal that they want to reach. And if they see you as someone like, I know that this person will be able to do to help me close this gap, I mean, that's when we make a no-brainer. That's when the offer becomes a no-brainer. Yeah. So I want to install that into you, and you do not need 500 people working in a webinar. The webinar funnel is, since many years now, it's just getting further and further away from working effectively. And we are not talking about quantity, we're talking about quality. And that's why we come back to what you said. You can have 10, 15, 20 or 40 people in a room convert between 50 and 65% of that room, and you're going to be able to build whatever kind of business that you desire.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to build a lifestyle empire based on a smaller room.
Yeah, I would even say the first like 3 to 4 million we made, it was in rooms with less than 30 people.
Yes. But we also converted more than 50%.
Yeah, we converted about 75%.
Yes. And we weren't okay with anything below 50%.
No.
The rule that we had, we ran our own different businesses at that time, was that we had a game with each other. There was no way that we weren't going to convert half the room.
No.
So we worked until we made that happen.
So for you who are listening to this as a coach, I really want you to write down, like, if you're in a stage right now where you say, oh, but I'm really struggling to get people to want to join my event. First of all, remember, you do not need to have hundreds and hundreds in the room. If that's the stage you're at right now, what would happen to your business if you just got 10 people? Would you believe you could get 10 people into the room or 20 people? What would happen if you instead learned how to convert half of them into becoming clients?
Yeah.
Instead of looking for how can I get more people into the room?
Yeah.
That's where you got gold in your business.
100%. And the step-by-step would be figure out what is a thing that my avatar actually wants solved.
Yeah.
Then market that.
There will be different reasons to, should I do the same event again and again, or should I do new events all the time? So the rule is this: the more you do the same thing, the better you become. Most coaches change their events because they're bored.
Yeah.
Because they want something new and fresh.
Because they're fulfilling their own needs.
They're fulfilling their own needs rather than the audience needs. And most of your audience, they actually like to see the same event more than once. So like a lot of people are not converted the first time. They might need to see 2 or 3. They love the event the first time, so they'll come back again. So that's one thing that's good. You become better at converting when you're running the same event again and again and again, because how do you get really good at events? Yeah, you run them a lot of times. Like the main event we've been doing, I think we run that same event more than 50 times, which means we know what to say, where to put in different things into the event and how to convert on that event.
Yeah, and you could see that as an unfair advantage, but it isn't unfair because we've worked our way here. But
we also started.
And we didn't start with that experience. We got to the experience, and that's the main point.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have gotten to the experience if we did different events all the time.
No. Having the same event is really good for that purpose. Then I understand, but wouldn't people be bored? I get new people coming in. First of all, you need to have a highly developed audience. That is a very specific audience that would need something new. So it's more believed than it's actually truth in 90% of the times. So it depends on what level of your audience is actually at, your avatar is at. But what it also happens is like, if you do something new every time, you can do that if you can see that the old messaging or the hook for the event is starting to, you can't really fill it up anymore. Maybe, turn in something else or do top of funnel market something else, but keep some of the things that you know is working in the event.
Yeah.
It is not designed as a fulfillment event. It is a sales event. We need to keep the things that works. We're not there to make it new every time, just for the purpose of being new.
The moment you have something that works, you want to stick with it. You want to figure out something that's strong on the front end side, which is the marketing, the hook, and the thing that attracts the people to join the event.
In one sentence, look for the hook that has a very clear outcome. What will I get out of your event is something I can use now, not like in the future, not like the plan for building up something big, but how to get this outcome in the next 2 weeks. Will normally have more people wanting to come because it has some urgency to it.
Absolutely. So play around with different phrases that helps you. But the moment you have your marketing working, the next step is to connect with the people who actually register.
Yeah.
And don't throw out links like, here, come and register. And then someone registers and you have no idea who that person is. So whenever someone registers, the next step is to make sure that you connect with that person.
Yeah.
If you can connect with them on social media, that's the best. If you can have a chat with them, what I like to do, especially in the beginning, especially when we're doing organic marketing, is that we qualify them. So if you could get one thing out of this event, what would be most valuable for you? So that they are starting to reveal to us what their needs are, because that makes them more invested, because all of a sudden they've been a part of a conversation in it.
This is about getting better show rate.
Yes.
Because they become more connected to the outcome. It becomes more personal for them.
Sense of urgency. It's creating an intensive, like, why should I show up?
Yeah.
Well, because we had a conversation and this is exactly what I'm here for. And it seems like this event is the right thing. So we're creating an incentive for them to show up to the thing. And don't underestimate how important it is to connect. That's also the reason why if you have 500 people on your registrant list and you're doing less than 20,000 euros a month in your coaching business, I'm going to say that you're missing out on a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we could literally help you to 5x your business in a couple of months because of that.
Yeah.
Because we know that you can attract, but can you actually convert them? Can you actually make them to commit?
Because most people are kind of, they register and then they get into the email sequence, like that standard email sequence, follow up and come to my event.
One of the worst things that you can do anywhere below 150,000 euros a month is believe. And this is most important for beginner coaches or the ones that are a little bit in the startup phase because...
Yeah, doing less than 20K monthly.
But point is this. If you try to outsource or to automate the connection points without knowing exactly what you're doing it wrong. Because you need to know exactly what you're doing in terms of connecting with them.
What to say, when to say it, how often to say it.
And you can't automate it until you know that inside out.
But you can automate it after that.
Of course, you can make a lot of smart different things. We're not connecting with everyone one-on-one. We're doing ads, which means that they're coming in from nowhere and they're literally seeing us for the first time. And then we have a sequence that takes care of them and introduces them to us. Yeah. And we have a team that chats with them and talks to them, making them get an idea of what is this event going to do for you, what's your most urgent need, and who are we and what do we help people do. Because the moment they understand that and they feel like, hey, this is kind of my vibe, this is what I need, this is what I want right now, then they're going to show up.
No, I just wanted to say, what can you expect? Because if we look into our stats, what we can expect and also what we see for our clients, when you fill an event with organic leads, your show rate is normally about 80%.
Yeah.
When you do it with ads, the show rate would be, before you do a lot of different things, somewhere between 15 and 25% most of the time. So everything you do between people are registered until they show up. And it matters a lot. If you have 100 registered, are you going to have 15 in the room? Or are you going to have 80 in the room? It's a huge difference. And there's a lot of things we can do in between. We can have the conversations. We can run retargeting ads to then warm them up before the event. So there's a lot of things we can do to make sure we get a better show rate.
Yeah. And show rate is one of the core things that is going to be the biggest leverage for you, because it means that the marketing is working and the people are interested long enough to also follow up on the instinct motion they felt when they saw the ad or the post or the registration page. Because most people react to either ads or content and they feel something, so they act on it because it feels like, oh, cool, something is happening over here. So they sign up. But then that emotion disappears and then they wither away because it's not relevant anymore. When you can realize that they register and show up, then you have a gold mine. And you want to do that and you want to leverage connection in order to make that as easy as possible for the people registering. To continue this even further, like if you're doing it organically, for a half year in a row, I had 100% attendance show up rate in my events. And the reason why I had that was mainly two things. One of them is connection. I've talked about it. But the other thing was that I also had a cap on the event. Yeah. Meaning that I only took in X amount of people and then it was full, meaning I created sense of urgency. Yeah. It was always full. When it was always full, people felt like, oh shit, I'm standing in line, which means that they signed up for the next month. And I started to build that kind of sequence. But I also checked in with them. If they registered more than 2 weeks in advance, I always followed up and made sure that, are you going to show up? Yeah. Because otherwise I need to give your spot to someone else. And I had them say, no, I am going to show up. And then they're showing up. Yeah. So for 6 months in a row, and that was my record, I had 100% show up rate.
Yeah, which is incredible.
Yeah, and then during the event, there were a few people that felt that this isn't for me, so they dropped off, which is fine.
Yeah. One thing to the attendance is also, is it a free event or is it a paid event? That will also make a huge difference, of course. But then again, we can make people pay. Then you'll have a higher cost per lead, especially when you're running ads, of course. And you would also have less people to register. The show rate would be better. However, if you have a great funnel, would you rather have it free up front and then have people register for the event for free, but maybe do an upsell. We've been doing that a lot, an upsell for those who are more committed. But then everyone who's not buying the upsell, they're still on their email list. So you still work with them and you get way more leads. So there's different ways to do it.
And because of the topic, next week, we're going to talk about delivery of the same thing. But the last thing that I want to add in regards to the marketing and filling the event up is that there are so many things that you can do before the event even starts to make sure that they show up. If you're doing it organically, even if you're doing it with paid ads, so you could add to the registration page. It's a free event, but if you don't show up, I'm going to charge you 50 euros. And what happens when you do that is that people are thinking twice before registering, because honestly, you want them to think twice. You want them to commit to, yep, I'm going to show up. I wouldn't do this in an ad strategy, but I would definitely do it in an organic strategy where you have them in the chat and where you can actually talk to them. And when they say that, hey, I saw that if I don't show up, I'm going to pay you.
Yeah, pay a deposit up front and you get their money back once we're done.
Yeah, if you're okay with the admin that comes with doing that.
Yeah, but it can be optimized. We've been doing that quite successfully because it also adds the show up rate.
Yeah, but we also have a lot of clients who've done it without the deposit, but without, I'm going to send you an invoice if you don't show up.
Yeah.
The thing is that we don't do it with the intention of sending them an invoice or charging them necessarily. The only condition to get out of the invoice is to let us know, hey, I'm going to miss out because of whatever reason.
No, but what happens is that they get committed, but they also take you seriously. You build your authority and you let them know, hey, I'm taking you seriously. I'm also taking myself seriously, and I demand of you to take this seriously if you want to join my world.
Yeah.
And for you who are doing events, we put our 5-day challenge builder for you to build up an event that actually converts. So go down below, download absolutely for free our 5-day challenge builder that we've been using, our clients are using, which is built up to sell, not just to make people happy.
And it's going to help you make better events. So stay tuned for next week where we're going to follow up and talk about how to deliver a good quality sales event.
Yes.
Talk soon.